I mentioned it at the beginning of the year 11, or the number 11, it signifies what? Chaos. Chaos, confusion. We said this year would be a year of chaos, a year of confusion. And we've experienced it, haven't we? And we said in the midst of all the chaos and all of the confusion, God would not tell us that lest we talked about this year being the year of spiritual intimacy, so we can draw nearer to him, closer to the Lord. That was his objective. While all this stuff is going around, taking place all around us, you see, the Lord has a way of putting his people, even though those things are happening around us, you see, that same chaos doesn't have to take place within us. Because what God will do, he will develop within us an oasis of peace, so that we're at peace while confusion is all around us. But then next year is the year 2012. Now we're ordaining on 2012, not 2012, but November the 12th, 2011. November 12th. 12 means what? Governments. Governments. We didn't plan this. But God has a way of orchestrating our lives. He has a way of ordering our lives so that things appear to be so coincidental. I mentioned it yesterday at Pastor Greg Smith's anniversary. It appeared to be so coincidental that we oftentimes miss it or don't pay attention to the arrangement of God and how God has a way of ordering our steps. So here we're talking about order. And how can order be established other than putting people in their rightful place? So what God is saying, he says, what I'm going to do, we're going to put people in their places so that different ones that are within the ministry will come to the place where we can begin to take our rightful stand in the place that God would have us to stand, so that his order can be established among us. Now, mind you, still in the ending of the year of chaos, as we're preparing to enter into the year of divine order. Are you hearing something here? You see, so as we're moving towards order, the people first must be in order. The priests must be aligned. All of us must be in our proper stations, so that when we face whatever we are facing, because that order is not, the government of God is not established merely for us to be at a place where we are trophies or we look good, but we're getting ready to engage in a level of warfare, spiritual warfare, that's much greater, far greater than any that we've ever engaged in before. So we need the order. And then the Lord placed on my mind this morning the message today that I'm going to share with you. I'm entitling this, Occupy Atlanta. Occupy Atlanta. We're being prepared for it, aren't we? We're being set up so that we as the people of God can occupy till he comes. That we're not here merely to take up space. We're not here merely to breathe God's air and to take up space, or to even be a people that's sitting in pews or benches, but we're here to occupy. We announced at the beginning of the year, we mentioned chaos. The announcement was not just news report, but a warning. I believe God was warning us. And we talk about a warning. When God gives a warning, he's really giving us a signal. Giving us a signal to spiritually prepare ourselves for what lie ahead. Now, I want you to understand what is really going on. This movement is taking place all over the world. The Occupy movement, and I want you to understand from a spiritual perspective what is in fact going on, because we come into the sanctuary of the Lord our intentions on coming here is that we can get understanding. We can come into a place where God is speaking so that what we read in the newspaper, what we see on the news, and even what may be reported or what we may even understand historically, we still won't be able to comprehend fully lest we come to that place of hearing prophetically what God is saying. And this is what God is doing within his church. He's speaking prophetically. But the question is, how many are hearing what God has to say to us? This is, let me tell you what this is. This is a clash between the kingdoms of this world and the spirit of this age. Did you hear what I said? This is a clash, a war between the kingdoms of this world. Mind you, we know that there are many kingdoms that have been established. The economic kingdom, the spiritual kingdom. There are several kingdoms that have been established. There are several kingdoms that rule and reign, the things that control the movements of individuals, the things that people that dominate our lives. To be honest with you, anything that dominates us, anything that controls us, regardless of how we may see it, is a kingdom. Those are kingdoms. And there are many kingdoms. You know, science can be a kingdom, or whatever dominates us. We begin to see those as kingdoms. So now what happens, those kingdoms are being shaken. The kingdoms of this world are being shaken, and now we find warfare occurring among the kingdoms. Because now the spirit of this age, we talk about spirit of this age, we're going to talk about, I'm giving you these statements, we're going to go deeper into it later on, but when we talk about the spirit of this age, we're talking about those things that are in vogue, understand that there are warring spirits, there are controlling spirits that control activities in a particular time. And understand not only that, I trust that you'll understand this as we go deeper into these teachings, is that they even control geographical locations. This is spirits. These are spirits. We wonder what's going on here. Why are people moving as they're moving here? The influence of spirits influencing regions and territories. So now what has happened, we begin to think that there would be peace since they're on the same side, but yet understand the enemy, we talk about chaos. Chaos is not just in one area, but chaos and confusion. You see that the enemy is the author of confusion. So we begin to see the clashes. We talk about the clashes of the world. When we talk about the world, we're talking about the world order. This world order, this world system. Here's another way of looking at it. The cosmos, or the world's arrangement. Do you realize there's an order, there's an arrangement that's been established by the world? This is the world system. And understand, I'm saying this because here's where God is trying to get us. The place where we're not being dominated and controlled by the world system. You see, all these years of teaching and preaching and all the messages that you've heard over the years, it was all to get you to the place where you were not dominated and controlled by the world system. Yes, you're in the world, but you're not to be of the world. Jesus Christ would always prove the fact that he was not dependent upon the world system. He did it one time where he had to pay his taxes. In the world, he got to pay taxes, right? But he was not of the world. So what did he do? He said, this is how I'm going to pay my taxes. He said, you go fishing. He said, the first fish you catch, look in his mouth, you'll find a coin in the fish's mouth. He said, take that coin out of that fish's mouth and go pay the taxes. I'm showing you my independence. I'm declaring to you my independence of the world system. They would get to a place he had to carry stuff around with him. You don't carry script nor coat or anything because you will be provided for. God can provide for us if we trust him. But if you don't trust him, guess what? You're going to depend upon the world system, and the world system will dominate you.